How you doing? This coffee break with Jimmy, and you know, it's this Fauci thing. I'm going to tie this in today. What happened when Fauci testified at the Senate hearing yesterday, and he invoked the Fifth Amendment. I think it was 111 times. But how that all ties into how everything is going right now. I'll give you kind of a little bit of a synopsis here. You know, when we elected Donald Trump in 2016, one of the large, I mean, for me, okay, and I think a lot of other people wanted the same thing, we all wanted a businessman to run our country. We've said that for a number of years, and we've never gotten a businessman. We've always gotten some politician who's going to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and not really get anything done. Reagan was the only politician that I ever saw that actually got some things done. As for an amount of time that he was there, he got a lot of stuff accomplished. Well, you look at Donald Trump and what Donald Trump has done in his first administration, and now in this one that's gone a year and a half now, and he's already gotten a lot of stuff done. Of course, people are going to bitch about the Iran war, and actually that had to be done. That's been something that's been needed to be done for the last 47 years. You know, they said they wanted to kill the big Satan, which is us, and the little Satan, which is Israel, and they want to do away with everything. Okay, this is Iran. This is the Shiite Muslims. That's the way they think. When they took over in '79, you know, the mullahs came in and they assassinated. Well, they first off they exiled the Shah and his people in somewhere else. I don't know where he actually went to, but. And then all the other leaders of Iran at that time, they assassinated them, hung them. They pretty much just wiped out whatever leadership they had that was connected to the government. Now it's going to be led by the clerics, okay? And that's what they've been doing for the last 47 years. Something needed to be done about them for some time, and finally it's getting done, and it's Donald Trump that's getting it done. And yeah, the prices of stuff are going to go up right now for a little bit. Why we're battling them, they're going to come back down. Things are going to come back down, and then we're going to get Iran, and probably a free Iran. The people of Iran, 95% of the people, at least, of the people of Iran want their country back. So but this is a businessman taking care of stuff. A businessman that doesn't really want war. Because if he really wanted an all-out war, myself, I think he should have put boots on the ground a long time ago. And he hasn't done that. Because he doesn't want our American soldiers, our Marines, doesn't want anybody getting killed. And it's going to happen. Whenever you have conflicts, casualties do happen, okay? It's not something you want. But we have a businessman, he's got a degree in economics. He knows what to do. I said in my last podcast how there's two different forms of fraud. You got legal fraud and you got illegal fraud. Fraud is fraud. I get it. But when you got fraud, like I explained in my last podcast, how these little screws that cost you $50 a screw to put on the flanges on a turbo J79 turbojet engine, to seal the engine up. I could get those screws, a box of 20 for about $1.19 at the time at the local hardware store, where these little screws cost $50 a piece. You know how to count them, how to make sure what you had, this is what they did. They had the $500 toilet seat, you've heard of that, the $500 hammer, where so much money is thrown at the military. Now that's what you call legal fraud. When so much money is thrown at this, and then people set their prices. They set their prices higher because they're going to get, you got the your lobbyists and your congressmen and women and your senators. They're all lining their pockets with this extra money that's thrown because it's got to be spent somewhere. The money's going to go somewhere. That's called legal fraud, and it's been going on for some time. Donald Trump has cut that back quite a bit in his spending. A lot of things that he spends on, he looks at what the cost is. Okay, let's look at. I talked about the in Israel. They're putting anyway, we needed to put an embassy in it, an embassy in Israel, and they wanted 1.5 billion for the embassy. Donald Trump says, "Don't we have a building there already, an existing building that we own?" And well, yes, we do. And for $400,000, I think, it might have been a little bit more than that, but they got the embassy built, and they saved over $1 billion. Now that's good business. That's a businessman. That's a businessman's mentality, and that's the way Donald Trump is taking everything. Everything he does is along those lines. That's why, I never even heard of terrorists until Donald Trump came out. Then I found out how terrorists and how they work. Okay, and that only makes us stronger. We got so many trillions of dollars of terrorists being reinvested in the United States. These are different companies, different jobs, and everything for people of the United States. It's going to make us prosper, or prosper us. Okay, and this is something that a good businessman does. And when the midterms come around, I guess in the coffers they got millions of dollars. I think it's $4 or $5 million. That's sitting there. That's already raised. The Democrats don't have any money. The Democrats don't have a plan. They got the socialist plan, to where they want to give everything for free, and somebody's got to pay for it. Okay, someone somewhere's got to pay for this. That's why a socialist regime has never worked out. And socialist is borderline communism. Everybody knows that. You got communism, socialism, fascism. It's all the same thing. And that's what's been going on. And that's what the Democrats have to offer now. I shouldn't say it that way, okay? The far left wing of the Democrat Party, that's what they have to offer. Defund the police. Defund ICE. Get rid of prisons. Get rid of the Senate. I mean, abolish the Senate. Abolish the presidency, where you just, the Congress, our representatives, will appoint a president for us. No, that's not the way it works. That's not the way anything works. But this is what socialism platform is right now. That's why a lot of them. I look at Johann Mondale. Look at how he has failed in New York. Everybody knew he was going to fail in New York. And that's what happens. And that's what happens when you have socialism. But just bear in mind what's going to happen here, okay? Yeah, things are going to get a little bit tighter. The prices have gone down. The price of food has already come down considerably already, okay? Gas has come down and it's gone back up again, but it hasn't gone all the way back up to where it was. It's going to come back down again. The midterms, I still believe that the Republican Party, the Conservative Party will win the midterms, because the only thing that the Democrats are doing, they're primarying other Democrats that are in office right now, with other Democrats, socialist Democrats, are primarying them, and they're getting a bit of a foothold here in New York and some other heavy blue states and heavy blue cities, okay? But we got to keep reminding everybody, especially the Gen Zers. You have to understand you're young, and you're full of life, and you really want to do some things, and you really think it sounds good, this socialism sounds good, but it's not going to work. It has never worked. Talk to the people from Cuba, see what happens there, okay? So they have to keep reiterating this. We have to keep reiterating this. This isn't going to work. We have to, capitalism is the only way to go. And even look at John Fetterman. Look at the way he feels about the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party is he's still a Democrat. I think eventually he's going to become a Republican, or at least an independent anyway. And but there's a lot of Democrats have done that. Democrats have done that. They've gone Republican. You don't see too many Republicans that go Democrat, okay? It doesn't go that direction. Because, the old adage, if you're 30 years old and you're a Republican, you don't have a heart, and if you're 35 years old and you're a Democrat, you got no brains. And that still stands today, as it always has. But just think about it. We got a businessman leading our country, and the things that he's done is from a businessman standpoint. Things are going to get better. Things are going to get better. I've talked about how, Trump wants to get rid of the Fed. And there's a number, I'm talking about Democrat presidents also, that have been wanting to get rid of the Fed. And I think that's what got John F. Kennedy assassinated. But there's a lot of things, there's a lot of changes need to be made. Trump is the only one with the guts to have these changes made, like in Iran. Once Iran becomes part of the part of the world has what we see in it as fair, Iran will be a better country. But they got to get rid. They got to get rid of the mullahs. They got to have a regime change there. There's no way it's going to work out any other way. And the way they're doing it right now, I still say, I could be wrong, but I still say, and this is one of the few disagreements that I ever have had with Trump, is that I think they should put boots on the ground. They put boots on the ground. They get rid of the IRGC. That's the only way you're going to defeat those guys, and that's their military, for whatever that means. But that's what we wanted. We wanted a businessman to run our country. Now we have it, and look what he's doing. Okay, you guys, you gotta keep going in this direction. We gotta elect the Republicans back. That we gotta take over the House. We gotta keep the House. We gotta keep the Senate, if we're gonna get anything done. Because if the Democrat Party happens to win the House, it's going to be impeachment from here on out for Trump the rest of the time. He's not going to get anything done because all the House is going to do is try to impeach him if they become in charge. I think everybody knows that. So let's keep the House. Let's keep the Senate. Let's pass the Save America Act. That's the biggest thing. Right now, we have to pass the Save America Act. And I think there's some things in the works right now where Trump's going to get it done. He's going to get it done. Just have faith, okay? Anyhow, got to keep talking about this. I understand that, it's kind of old at times. But, I was talking about Fauci earlier and how this ties in. In 2016, when Trump got elected, he was doing really well. Everything was going the right direction. And then all of a sudden this virus comes in, COVID-19. COVID-19 was devastating for a lot of people. A lot of people died. You didn't get to go see their family members while they were sick and in the hospital because you couldn't go visit them because they had COVID-19. And then a lot of people, a lot of your loved ones died. And even your friends, a lot of your friends died, and you didn't get a chance to see them because of COVID-19. But this gain-of-function research, it just kind of reached out to other things, okay? I heard the other day, now I don't know if how much truth there is to this, but I think there is. This gain-of-function research also reached out to the bird flu. You remember the bird flu here a couple years ago? Well, the bird flu, whatever the virus that they were working on that, well, now it went to mammals, not just birds, but to mammals, and it affected the dairy cattle, okay? And the dairy cattle started dropping in production. Some of them even just died. Some of the cattle did. But a lot of them dropped in production because they got this virus, this bird flu. That affected me, just like COVID-19 affected me. All these viruses that Fauci and his cohorts, I don't want to say Redmond did, but I know Birch wasn't. She was pretty much hand in hand with Fauci, but Redmond, I think he saw through all that, and he tried to stop this, and even Trump did. I mean, he was following the experts. Fauci was an expert. He was trying to follow him, but he didn't like the idea of shutting the country down, and neither did Ron DeSantis in Florida. There's a lot of people didn't want to shut the country down. But Fauci kept saying, we got to shut the country down. We got to do this. You got to stay 6 feet away from one another. And then we found out in his diary that all he did was lie. And then yesterday when they had him testifying, he took the fifth 111 times. The guy's a chump, okay? And he cost us a lot of lives. They cost us a lot of money. I mean, it's like I said, I not only got hit with COVID-19, that cost me a little bit, but it really cost me the bird flu, because that really shut me down pretty bad last year when the dairy cattle started getting sick, and I couldn't go out to the dairies because the USDA, the state of California, the Department of Agriculture here wouldn't allow me to go on the dairies because I could spread the bird flu, even though it was in the air. It was going to be spread anyway. They felt that they were trying to be a little bit too cautious, and now the bird flu is out there now, and but ended up costing me $100,000 better. So I lost a lot of money there. But anyway, this has to do with this gain of function research, and I think Fauci, he was the one that started it all. It's in his diary. Everything that he did wrong was in his diary. So we're going to see more and more about that. This is the hot topic right now. But we'll see what happens. Anyhow, I'll talk to you guys either tomorrow or Saturday. I'm going to do another podcast then. And so I'll see you then. So please subscribe and hit that like button and share. And we'll see you next time on Coffee Break. Thanks.